Hi, this is David Kroodsma with Hub Culture. I'm joined now by Bill McKibben, the author of several books on global warming. Bill has been involved in the climate movement now for over 20 years, and he is also the founder of 350.org. Bill, thanks for joining us.
Hey, good fun, David.
Yeah. Bill, can you tell us a little more about your emotional trajectory over 20 years of involvement in climate?
Well, in certain ways, it's probably an advantage for me in this work. I wrote the first book about climate change. So 21 years ago this year, when I was 28, I guess, it came out. And that means that I may have done a lot of the kind of emotional work sort of fairly early on, gotten through the couple of years of real angst and sadness and fear and things. And though I still feel all those things from time to time and whatever, I think I find it easier now just to get on with the work, just to get up every day and see what I can do about it. I've kind of given up wondering whether we're going to win or lose, and just try to figure out how we can change the odds some.
With 350.org, you've done a number of really amazing projects that get attention. You've had people all over the world hold up the number 350 to draw attention to that number. And you've done this recent global art project. Could you tell us a bit more about those, and then also how that attention can go towards making some change?
Sure. So 350 has been the first real movement, global grassroots movement around this climate question that's emerged. And we began really sort of, our debut was in October of 2009 with this Global Day of Action that had about 5,200 demonstrations, many of them quite large, in 181 countries. Foreign Policy magazine called it the largest global rally ever on any issue. And we topped it this fall with a global work party, 188 countries. There were 7,400 places where people were putting up solar panels, digging community gardens, laying out bike paths, all rallying around this pretty wonky scientific data point, 350 parts per million CO2, which it turns out, by the way, people are completely capable of understanding. And there's no, we were worried maybe when we started, but we need not have been. It's entirely possible for people to understand. So we've begun to build this strong, widespread movement. We just finished the largest art project the world's ever seen, 20 installations around the world, so large that we had to back up into outer space with a satellite to really sort of see what they looked like. This is movement building. It isn't yet big enough or powerful enough to be able to beat the fossil fuel industry. They've spent a couple 100 years and many billions of dollars building their movement. And it's really strong, and it has plenty of money to spend on politicians, and so far it's winning. It's won every significant fight that we faced, from Kyoto through Copenhagen through the US Congress this summer. Since we're never going to have as much money as we need to compete with them, we're going to have to figure out some other currency. I think it's bodies, spirit, creativity, passion. Our hope is that we can muster a movement of the requisite size and power and beauty in the next couple of years, next few years, while we still have some window in which to enact change. But I got to tell you, there's no guarantee it's going to happen. No guarantee that we're going to be able to defeat the politicians who are on the take from the oil companies, and no guarantee we're going to turn policy around in time. We're closer than we were a few years ago because we've now built this beginnings of a movement, but we're not close enough.
You've built a global network of people that are engaged on this issue. Where do you see this network going, and what do you think it will be able to do?
I hope it'll keep getting larger and more spirited.
How big is it now?
Well, I don't know. It exists in every country in the world except North Korea. That's where we had actions this year. Every country, 188 countries. I don't know. what, how big it can get. I hope it can get bigger. I hope we haven't, topped out on the number of people. I don't think we have. I'm afraid that, our best recruiting sergeant is Mother Nature at this point. Each tough year that passes shows more people what the stakes are. When we did those work parties this fall, there were a bunch of them along the Indus River in Pakistan. Communities starting to rebuild from those devastating floods and saying, while we're doing this, we want the rest of the world to stop setting us up for more of this kind of damage. As that process continues, this will grow. The question is not, will we take action? Eventually we will. The question is whether we'll take enough action in quick enough time to make a difference or not. And as I say, that's very much an open question. I wish I could guarantee it for you, but I can't.
And what has inspired you the most in your past year of work?
The endless pictures flowing into 350.org from all over the world that demonstrate that this movement isn't how people stereotype it. It's not rich white people who have nothing better to do. It's mostly poor, black, brown, Asian, young people, because that's mostly what the world is. And their willingness to engage in this work, especially in those places where they've done nothing to cause this problem, is an endless source of inspiration to me. If they can keep fighting, I can keep fighting. And we're making just enough progress to tempt us to think we might actually get somewhere.
Well, I hope so. This is David Kroodsma with Hub Culture, with Bill McKibben, the author of The End of Nature, over 10 books on the environment, and the founder of 350.org. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, sir.